Moving.
Nestled in the northeastern hills.
Good morning, Stockholm. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So it's an honor and pleasure to welcome you to this session this morning, which is organized by ADB on the topic Climate Smart Water Resource and Irrigation Management, some case studies from Asia. Welcome to you all. So as you are aware, we are going to highlight in this particular session select initiative from ADB which are aimed at addressing the climate adaptation and mitigation in the water for food sector. It demonstrates a range of approaches and offers insights from multiple teams and developing member countries, especially from 3 countries, Cambodia, India, and Pakistan. The mitigation case studies focus on-farm water management using alternate wetting and drying techniques, examining their impacts on water, productivity, greenhouse gas emissions, and farmers. The adaptation case studies emphasize on climate-smart water resource management as a whole, and it includes infrastructure, fish-friendly river basin management plans to maximize the benefits of water resources infrastructure, developed and to be modernized in integrated manner, near real-time optimization of canal water supplies and use of highly efficient pressurized pipe distribution network, and climate adaptative participatory watershed management aspects. These are already ongoing and are in some of the pilot stages, these projects which are presented. What will be the outcome of this session? We are expecting to have collaboration and opportunities for partnerships enhanced in supporting these strategies, approaches, and technologies in climate water smart water resources and modernization, transformation, irrigation management, and especially the women-led participatory watershed management components. These are addressing the SDGs 6, 13, 16, and 17, and also the key aspects are challenges to scaling solutions for climate resilience, rising food demand, and water scarcity include technology uptake barriers, financing gaps, regulatory hurdles, local context constraints, smallholder farming dynamics, resistance to change, and more. So I am pleased to present this session not in a very conventional mode. This will be slightly dynamic, out of the box. We are going to use here Shark Tank format. Okay, there will be pictures and there will be sharks. So this is the mode that we have adopted and decided. I am also honored to welcome my pitchers from India. So can we start I will start the proceedings now with your permission. So this is the glimpses from ADB supported, a movie which is compiling our projects.
Nestled in the northeastern hills of India, Meghalaya, aptly called the abode of clouds, is a land where nature and culture merge. With a vibrant tribal heritage and the highest rainfall in India, it's a testament to the ecological and cultural richness. But today, climate change threatens this balance. Maplang groves are drying, Umyam dam levels falling, and women walk miles for water. Meghalaya now faces a stark climate crisis. In the face of growing climate uncertainty, the government of Meghalaya, in collaboration with ADB, has launched a $62.5 million climate adaptative community-based water harvesting project. With 532 water harvesting structures, and 12,500 hectares of catchment protection, it empowers women, uplifts communities, and secures livelihoods. Under this project, we are implementing pilot projects for the cluster-based value chain projects in agriculture, horticulture, fisheries, and expanding the projects through a convergence model with existing central and state-funded government programs to integrate women, enterprises, and groups owned or led by women. A key innovation, Adapt rewards communities for conserving forests and springs. Using satellite technology, Meghalaya links incentives directly to conservation efforts, making people true partners in protection.
Ya ketemu sini singi mari ketemu nok casa house rangi kita bata uyarang ko cenga yan wong pa gemukan iku cakagen arabaya digi ci dongannya selo cenga cingi ciak orang ci tani gemen cengna blogin dak sakari wa araba mukang ciba yan dak ba ci ko pangangi cakalang cenga mai kemen nige ye cingi digi ko namme success nimna matote onna kata nanga nimna cenga de Meghalaya government ko pa cenga mulmola araba ya ko matni on bayang pa sini soil conservation watershed ni mandirang ko tela arba Meghalaya government ko pa nga natel somota
một nghi layo ban rep yaki juhur ki jem mat kene kai rap sibun ngi hakaba laj na benda ban hedlut yaki juhur ki jem kina po yo bat leng baga jingdon jonga kani ka project ka ban po ba leher ngut ngi la ro ban rep yaki strawberry pok per ko jingi bat leng bang do strawberry mut ngi la ro ban de sha yo sha hat bat kene ka la ban ai jing toy ya ka ngi kum ka shinong ka thau bat da yin ta sen hi.
Works have been started in 120 locations across Khasi, Jaintia, and Garo Hills. 25% of community leaders are women. An 800-hectare afforestation plan ensures long-term sustainability of the project. This is more than a project, it's a movement. Meghalaya is building a water-secure, climate-resilient future where every drop counts and every voice is heard.
This is the next project that is being presented today in the session.
Leaving behind homes, memories, and dreams to search for work far away. The question lingered, would these farmers ever see irrigation water in their lifetime? In 2019, hope arrived in the shape of two great walls of stone, Mohanpura Dam on the Nevaj and Kundalia Dam on the Kalisindh. Together, they held back life itself, water. But storing it was only the beginning. From here, a marvel of modern engineering would carry it uphill. A 26,000-kilometer pressurized piped network. Water rises from pump houses, flows into massive break pressure tanks, and travels through a web of pipes to reach every farm gate, ready for sprinklers and drip systems without wasting a drop. This is not just an achievement, it's a world record. The largest contiguous area on Earth irrigated by such a system, 290,000 hectares. Water use efficiency has leaped from 38% to 80%, meaning more crops from less water than ever before. Today, the transformation is visible from the ground and the sky. Crop yields have risen by 400%. Migration has fallen by 64%. New schools, bustling markets, warehouses and tractor showrooms speak of a revived economy. For the people here, water is no longer a privilege. It is power, security and the freedom to dream. The Mohanpura Kundalia project is more than an irrigation scheme. It is a proof that innovation can rewrite centuries of history, and that when water flows, life follows.
The Asian Development Bank, along with national and international collaborators, is supporting a pilot study to explore low-carbon rice production techniques in Punjab. The study consists of 2 experiments. Experiment 1 measures GHG emissions and water productivity in the rice wheat cropping system to develop specific emission factors for various rice cultivation methods. This will also evaluate AWD's potential in generating financial incentives for farmers through carbon markets. Experiment 2 focuses training farmers from Shaikapura and Okara on safe AWD to reduce water usage and methane emissions without compromising on crop yield. These training are conducted through video presentations, expert interactions, and practical demonstrations. At the end of the rice season, a survey of trained farmers will be conducted to identify barriers and opportunities for AWD adoption.
Thank you very much for watching this video patiently, and hope you would have now got a background like what kind of projects we are presenting today. So let me introduce my team in this whole Shark Tank format. I am privileged to welcome my co-convener, Ms. Tania Hoyer.
This is my
Welcome,
role, right,
Tanya.
Vikas? Thank you very much.
Oh, you are going to lead the sharks. You have to control the sharks.
Control the sharks,
Yes.
control the pitchers in terms of time.
And I will control the pitchers. So that's what I would the role for us. And we have our director, Jiang Feng Zhang from ADB, and he will be our overall guidance here. So let me start with first picture. May I also invite my sharks? Miss Babbitt, please come on the stage. Mr. Mohsin, Dr. Mohsin Saab, please come. And I'm also honored to also tell you that our colleagues from India, from Pakistan have also joined this session online. So we welcome them also, and we thank them for their presence in this particular session. I also invite Miss Valeria, please join on the stage as our shark, and Miss Karin, welcome, please come. So let me invite first picture, my colleague Lance, my mentor Lance, please come on the stage and pitch your project. You have 10 minutes, even less than that because we are running over time.
Already.
Thank you very much. The stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Vikas and everyone. Last day of the forum, so a pat on the back to all of us for still having the energy to be here and to participate, and we're very honored that you come to the ADB session. And I'm feeling a bit apprehensive that the sharks are right next to me, so one of them's wearing red too, which is not a good sign, I think, for me. Who controls the slides? You are, okay. Okay, great. So I have the privilege of presenting to you a project in Cambodia, which was actually prepared and led by my colleagues Rotaru Takuku Basu Bisithlong and His Excellency Chansanath with the Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology. But we think it's a fantastic example of what can be done when we're talking about irrigation, water use, improving consumptive water use, protecting the environment, and so forth, and addressing some of the challenges that Cambodia faces. And if I just work out which hand is pushing what, there we go. So Cambodia, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it is impacted by floods and droughts. 90% of the rainfall falls within only a few months during the wet season. This leads to quite substantial flooding that has a real impact on people's lives, their houses, their livelihoods, the economy of the country. For example, on average, about 4 million people a year are affected by floods or droughts, leading to about $250 million of losses each year. With climate change, that variability is going to happen more, impacting up to 10% of GDP by 2050. So being kind of, economically developed, suppressed country, they're really lacking in infrastructure and support to help them navigate this crisis. Here's an example of the flooding in the Pusat River basin. This is one of the areas which we've been asked to support the country with. You can see the impact. This is from the 2020 flood event. 14 provinces, 180,000 households were impacted. 330,000 hectares of crops were lost just in this one event. So it shows kind of the scale and magnitude of the issue. So we were asked to help them basically make this river basin resilient for them. And we've using the country's policy of using an integrated water resources management approach. We were very keen to embrace using a river basin management committee made up of local stakeholders within the basin, and to address the upstream, downstream issues, look at it from a landscape perspective to see where we can support with improving the water availability, and also support the environment, but at the same time make sure that the water that is available is productively used to support agriculture and to help prevent the floods. So this project comprised of both soft and hard components. Soft components being strengthening the River Basin Management Committee, taking a climate adaptative approach, helping to incorporate management of the reservoirs. There's some large reservoirs under construction upstream for hydropower generation, but we wanted to, rather than keep them in silos and just make them useful for the hydropower, we wanted to also make them useful to protecting downstream communities from floods and also to benefit for the agriculture. Trying to keep my slides in sync, my notes and the slides up on the screen. So hard components comprised flood diversion canals by utilising old flood natural water courses, but making them operate in a sort of a bypass mode around communities, areas. We also included irrigation modernisation efforts. A lot of the irrigation systems that were in the country were incomplete. They were built during the 1960s, the Khmer Rouge time. They were basic. They didn't have the tertiary systems, so the water would not reach the farmers. So we're modernising the irrigation gates and canals, extending the systems to the farmers' field, providing the telemetry systems, hydromet systems and decision support systems for that. We're also investing in, I think, 13 river fish passes around existing infrastructure to allow the fish to migrate up and down these rivers, which are important spawning rivers. Most protein within Cambodia comes from the fisheries, so this is very important for them. Lastly, we have a pilot part of the project where we're looking again at the greenhouse gas emissions, working with, because primarily it's a paddy-based sort of agriculture system. So we're working with the local farmers there to see how we can incorporate alternate wetting and drying. Given that we're modernising the irrigation system, this becomes a valuable option to the farmers, which helps them to minimise water consumption and also minimise greenhouse gas consumption. Greenhouse gas production. And this has been done in conjunction with using these sort of canal-topped or floating solar panels, because a lot of the water is pumped out of the canals or from the system. So we think this project's got really nice sort of broad elements. We're using it as a demonstration pilot project, because even though it's, I think it's a $100 million project, we're actually now talking about how do we replicate this to other river basins within the country, and those discussions are going with the government at the moment. So this is a very nice project, I think, that demonstrates an IWM approach, how we can improve water use efficiency, flood mitigation, looking at the climate, greenhouse gas aspects. So that's my pitch to the team, but at the same time, the other three projects which were going to be pitched to you are also fantastic projects. So yeah, I don't mind being in the same competition as they are. So thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lance. Is there anything specific you want to hear from the sharks, or any advice that you need?
No,
No?
Anything. Anything. I'm looking for feedback from them. Yeah.
Compliments for your timing. We're back on track, so very appreciated.
Oh, thank you.
We have Karen here. She's working for Wageningen University, and Mohsin working for Dr. Mohsin for IMWI. So that's more the research sector. Then from private sector, we have a young professional, Valeria. Welcome to join us from Scott Consulting. And last but not least, from the food angle, we have Babette working for the Netherlands Food Partnership. And I think it's nice also to bring in your connections and network in that field. Yeah, I hope you have been listening carefully. Is there any one of you who want to kickstart with your shark bites?
Question. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
The microphone, sorry. Didn't think about that. Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Lance, for the presentation and for sharing with us this amazing project. First, I want to say that I think this project could inspire others, and I'll be happy to amplify it through my networks. Also, I have one question. Revitalizing old channels to divert floods sounds impactful, but a bit complex. So what challenges or risks do you anticipate with this approach?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I mean, revitalising old channels hopefully is the most appropriate because hopefully it means minimal land take and less land acquisition from the local community because you don't want to have to displace people unnecessarily. Also, the channels obviously once functioned as drainage channels, so that if there's an opportunity to use them when in times of floods, I think that's a great benefit. Otherwise, they're left and probably for the community to use at an ad hoc basis. The challenge will be making sure that you have the mechanism to divert flow into them when the floods come, and that mechanism will be gates, will be diversion gates of some sort. They are well maintained and operate when you need them to operate. Because if they don't, then they're not going to operate as you'd hope. And that you have enough, I guess, the warning system. So you need an early warning system to tell you that the flood's coming in for the gate operators to operate, but you'd also have to have an early warning system to, if there's anyone in those channels at the time that they're operating, to make sure that they are out of those channels when the time comes.
Does it satisfy you, this answer, as a shark? Okay. Karen.
Thank you, Lance, and congratulations on this great project. I think it's really wonderful that you take a holistic approach, integrating water, food, energy questions with biodiversity, so very well done. I wonder that with future climate projections, have you also taken into account the risk to salinization?
Good question, which I'll have to ask the team, but this is on it flows into the Tonle Sap, and Tonle Sap flows, I don't know, maybe 1,000 kilometres to the sea, so I'm hoping, hopefully there's not so much salinity from salt water there. There might be from the natural ground minerals. There's no recycling of water, I guess, in the system. It all relies on the water that's coming down the watersheds and then gets dispersed through the canal. So I'm actually hoping that there's not too much of a salinity issue, but it's something that the team can look into.
Well, if you need help with that, we have connections that we recently developed a global salinity hotspot mapping tool, which can also predict the risk to salinity. So if you want us to look into that, then we can certainly do that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lance. Excellent presentation. And first is about the connection. We are working there on a groundwater system in the river basin. It will be important to look around that on the groundwater contact. Then the question is, during the wet season, it's a 90%. So that's fine. You have flood damage and everything. But during the dry season, only 10% of water is available. And typically in that part of the world, not water is available to the tailenders and everything. And for alternate wetting and drying, it's important to know about that one. Two aspects. One is how much is the net saving for the whole river basin, or the aspect. Second is about how the farmer will be getting the water in a particularly dry season when the canals are already facing the water shortage. So are you guys planning to do some ponds at the tail end? What exactly the strategy to improve the resilience of the farmers who will be adopting the alternate wetting and drying techniques in the tail end I'm talking?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that you're absolutely correct, and thanks for the question and points. The AWD is being applied, I think, towards the head of the canal as a demonstration. Whether it can be practically deployed in the tail end, we need to investigate that. The government is investing in 2 large reservoirs upstream at the top end of the catchment, which we would hope through using the River Basin Committee would be releases from those reservoirs will be coordinated with the cropping needs downstream. Whether that is sufficient to meet the tail enders, we're not sure. We need to look into that. But through modernising the canals, because right now the canals don't even reach to the tail enders. They have to pump their water a long way. The groundwater resources is not really sufficient to cover it. So they either don't crop, which a lot of them don't crop, and they're impacted by that, or they have to pump a long way out of the surface canals. So by completing the system, we're hoping to at least make the water available to them. Now, whether it's available during a drought period, that's another question. And
Babette, would you like to attack here? Would you like to attack the next presentation?
No, I actually have 2 questions. I would like to answer.
that was a diplomatic
No, I have 3 minutes.
Sorry.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll make it quick. Well, thank you, Lance, for this excellent presentation, and the project sounds very promising. So my first question is, how did you involve local communities with the decision-making process? And then secondly, you're saying that you're still in the demonstration phase of the project. What challenges do you foresee in replicating this project?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Again, communities, I think they were very much involved because the layout and the design of the canals, really because it passes through their lands and their fields, they're involved in that process. In Cambodia, it's a very commune sort of based governance process. So, you can talk to the individuals, but you really talk to the communes too, and they make sure what's appropriate for the commune. Also for the fish passages, a lot of dialogue went into that, designing the fish passages, because what types of fish, where would they like them to pass the gates and so forth. So I think we're quite happy with that. Second question was, this is pilot. Well, it's a grand pilot. We're doing quite large works here. We want to replicate this elsewhere. The AWD is a small pilot, only 2,000 hectares. So let's see what the success of that is. Let's see what factors made that a success, and see if it's something that farmers in other areas will be willing to take on. The thing with AWD is you do need reliable water source. So it's got to go hand in hand with modernising the irrigation system and construction of reservoirs, because they need a surety that the water will be there. So, having that as a pilot and using that to bring farmers and other communities to look at and see if it's something that they're willing to take on, I think it's quite important. It'll be a useful tool for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. Okay.
Thanks to the shark. Thanks to Lance. Lance, I think you're lucky to be the first, because they are still warming up. Thanks a lot. A big applause for all of them.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Over to you, Fikas.
Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Sharks. Hope you have enjoyed this particular session. Now I am coming to invite my other colleague. Pitch 2 from India. There are 2 pitches from India. The first one is about the second pitch is about transformative pressurized piped irrigation, unlocking economic barriers in our Monpura Kundalia irrigation project from India. So I'm inviting Mr. Vikas Rajoria, Administrator and Additional Project Director from the project. Mr. Vikas.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we are going to present an Indian resolve to combat desertification through our transformative story of Central India. This is the background. It is in the western part of the central province of the India. That area is almost 600,000 hectares of the area. It was totally dry on the verge of the desertification. Before 2010, it was only out of 600,000 hectares, only 45,000 hectares were irrigated by the sources. The dams, the rivers flows low, and the area is higher. So on the basis of the canal-based system, it is not possible to irrigate the land through the gravity. That is a conventional method which was going all around the state and the country. So by lifting also it is not possible, because again, after lifting, there are undulations there. So it needs to be totally pressurized pipe system. Then we created 2 reservoirs in a record period of 3 years. That is almost, we impounded 1,200 million cubic meter of water through that 2 reservoirs. Then we created a pressurized irrigation network from reservoir to farm. That is an innovation which we have created, and we are controlling it through SCADA with many volumetric controls all over, almost 10,000 more volumetric controls all over the area. This is what we are doing from there. This is the background and the setting of the north of that scale of the project. Then our story of innovation is that was a totally dry area, which I discussed with you. And then we has done almost 1,200 MCM, and it is an innovation. It is state-of-art pressurized irrigation network. So here we come. This is the picture which shows like this. We say that it is the world's largest pressurized irrigation network, which is taking water from reservoir to farm. And we are giving outlet at every hectare of the land with a pressure of 20 meter. And this is totally underground pressurized irrigation network with one of its kind. And this has increased the water use efficiency from 38% to 80%. And this is very massive, and this is very large water schemes. And it is 26,000 kilometers of the pipe network has been laid, and 130 megawatt, 20 numbers of pump stations of 130 megawatt around the peripheries of this reservoirs you are seeing we have created. So this was about the background and the project, which is not a pre-project, which is commissioned, and the impacts. I'm going to share the impacts of the projects. It has increased the productivity to the 4 times. It has increased the water use efficiency from 38 to 80%. And it has totally transformed the livelihood of that area, which was deprived of water every thing. So this is when we claim the transformations, it has to be validated by the scientific and real data. This is the surge in the crop production you see. It is almost 300,000 metric tons prior to the project, and now it is 1.6 million metric tons more than. This is all the procurement. It is not included the seeds and the farmers, which they keep the farmers. The production might be more than that. This is again a validation which is required. This is the NDVI study which we conducted in 2025. We have taken the pictures of January 2025 where the crops are in the blossom, because in this project we give the second watering to the project, and this is done. So here you can see that NDVI threshold of 0.35 was almost in 140,000 hectares, and now it has reached to more than 290,000 hectares. And out of that 140,000 hectares, the threshold was less, and only in that area the farmers are doing the crops which are less water. Our vision is to give a global, inclusive, innovative solution to the globe to combat desertification in the arid and semi-arid areas. That such a projects can be implemented, replicated there. Because it has no open canal system. This is totally transformed the canal-based systems, and we have measured the efficiency through NDVI, through a lot of things, and we have documented it everywhere. Now I would like to add to the presentation. I would like to invite my colleague, Mr. Shubhankar, to take you far.
I think we are done with the slides actually, but the farmers here in this region were actually left, they had only one option, that was to exploit the groundwater, draw from the groundwater, and they went deeper, just not the shallow aquifers, they went deep into the aquifers, and then they were having all those green areas pre-project were from groundwater. So this area is now overexploited in terms of groundwater. It used to be. We have last 2 years of data, but that's too short a time to claim that the groundwater situation has improved. but the drawdown levels show us that the groundwater exploitation has stopped. So the shallow aquifers are enough for whatever conjunctive irrigation is being done in the area. So in terms of groundwater conservation, this project has, by providing access of surface water to the farmers, has added to water security in future. Secondly, about this adoption of pressurized piped network has ensured very quick implementation of the project. So we could, despite the COVID years, because that's the only season we get to work in the field. So from mid-March to mid-June, before the onset of the monsoons in the subcontinent, that's the 3 months we get to implement our projects. So these two years were lost in the during the COVID. Still, we could complete it in time and commission the project well in time. That was majorly because this type of project does not require permanent land acquisition and does not put out of use productive land just by acquiring it permanently. So where in canals we use typically land acquisition is about 6 to 8% of the served command area. So that land we were able to save, and we were also could avoid the situation of resettlement and rehabilitation. So these are the only 2 points I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhankarji. No, we will. Dr. Joram, maybe we will have combined questions for both the presentations from pitching from India. So let me invite Dr. Joram Beda. He is a professional doctor and also an administrator from India. And I'm inviting him for the pitch on Mega Adapt. Mega Adapt, community-led adaptation mission for water and economic security in Meghalaya. Dr. Joram. This is the forward, this is backward.
A very good morning to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that in the whole of Middle East, there is a patch of tropical rainforest, very surprisingly. Maybe many of you are not aware about this. This is located in a place called Salalah Dofur. And surprisingly, the tropical rainforest appears only for 3 months. And this dreamlike place disappears by the end of September. Very soon, our fates, especially in the fragile ecosystems of the mountainous regions, especially in the northern and northeastern reaches of India, is going to have the same fate. So now coming to, where's my presentation? Okay, this is my presentation. So my state is called Meghalaya. This is a province located in the northeast of India. The name Meghalaya in Sanskrit means the abode of clouds, and that was in 1947. All right? So now today, things have changed, and this is the problem statement. We have about 1,337 out of the 2,776 micro-watersheds critical, of which about 100 are supercritical, as per the Indian Space Research Organization. About 54% of our springs have dried or are drying. Till now, we have only mapped 55,915 and counting. 17% of our soils degraded. We have a project called Jal Jeevan Mission, under which we provide functional tap water in every household. And the project has gone very well, only to observe later that many of the water sources are drying. About 774 water sources out of the 5,000 odd have dried and are critical. Between 21-23, we have lost almost the size of Stockholm. About 84.54 square kilometers of forest have been lost. In the current year, our rainfall is deficit by 56%. So no more we are Meghalaya in the true sense. And also from climate change point of view, as a doctor, I can tell you, diseases which were unheard of earlier have suddenly appeared in the temperate zones of Meghalaya, namely scrub typhus and dengue. And all these problems are compounded by the unique geology that we have, and whatever rain we receive flows down all to Bangladesh. So we come to the solution. So the solution is, thanks to ADB, we have come up with this particular project. We call it the Climate Adaptive Community-Based Water Harvesting System. So this is a very ambitious, very comprehensive project that we are implementing. We don't just store water, we store resilience. And this is a project which solves the problem multidimensionally. And under this project, we don't just create water harvesting systems, structures. This is based on catch the rain where it falls. We also intervene in the catchment area. We also intervene in the command area to create livelihood. So this is a very comprehensive project. On 25th, in our first roundtable, ADB asked us a question as to how your projects are solving the issue of social inclusion. I'm happy to tell you, this is a project which is community-driven. All the locations, the 530 odd projects, have been selected by the community. I'm also happy to inform you about 40% of the people involved in this project who are taking the calls, who are deciding the progress of the project, the implementation of the project, are women. And about 25% of the people involved in this project are youths. And of course, as a part of this project, so we are constructing about 532 water harvesting structures, creating a pondage of about 413 hectares with a storage of 10 million cubic meters. Now, a part of this project, which is very unique, is called the MEG-ADAPT. And under this project, this is a sub-project of the main project, we are directly incentivizing the community to conserve forest. So we provide about 10 lakhs per community for preserving forest. Of course, this is pegged to key performance indicators. It's not that we just dole out the cash. We have the local Northeastern Space Application Center, which is a branch of the Indian Space Research Organization. So we use the geosynchronous satellite imagery to see the progress. And over the next 5 years, if there are substantial progress, the financial release also will be pegged to that. So this is one very innovative project that we have done, and it's aligned with SDG 6, 13, 8, and 5. So this is all about our project, and from Meghalaya, we are trying our best. We are at the front line of climate change. I'm a doctor. I'm treating climate change now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for being here in Stockholm to present on these projects. I think it's really interesting. We're raising the bar now for the sharks. 2 pitches, very interesting one with a lot of passion. We have a doctor on board who is solving the problem. That's always good. Are there any questions, suggestions, or maybe support you can provide to one or both of those projects? Mohsin.
Excellent presentation, both. So first, let me provide a comment on the last one presentation. That's an excellent example how the NBS solution through rainwater harvesting could provide the improving the water availability and improving the resilience. And the excellent thing is where you have involved the community and its ownership and how that could structure could be working it together and how that could be leading towards the adoption. Okay, so then, and it's an excellent example of water, energy, food, environment nexus, how these things are working together, and you're going for the renewable energy, solar pumps, and everything. The other thing is about the active pressurized pipe irrigation system. That's excellent. That's work is, and I think you have the pipe irrigation system, which has improved the efficiency. But one other thing where IMI could offer it potentially on irrigation demand forecasting, that in 2 ways. One is about deploying the soil moisture sensors at the farmers to guide them about the behavior change, how they could do it, when to irrigate and how much. And second is about, as this pipe irrigation system, what we could do it on remote sensing based and artificial intelligence application for irrigation demand forecasting. So we know when is the rainfall coming. So we combine those one, and we have been working on a 7 days irrigation demand forecasting. We'll be happy to provide that kind of support to you and see how we could further improve the efficiency and looking on the system level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohsen. Any reflection?
Yeah. We've already thought about this demand forecasting, and we want it to be very inclusive, so that we are also, as irrigation managers, we know what we need to know, and also the farmers know when to irrigate, how much to irrigate, when to stop irrigating, and how to raise a demand for that. We've been working with certain daily satellite data. These are basically thermal imageries. Some are 10 meter to 10 meters and 30 meter by 30 meter. And also we have the Landsat imageries. We are downscaling it to 10 meter by 10 meter pixels. And we've launched a pilot with the help of what's now Hydrosat and ADB. And we have found that this helps a lot. And we've also done the ground truthing of it. And this is a work in progress still. We've done with the infrastructural part, and we are moving ahead with the irrigation management part of it right now.
Thank you.
Mr. Joram, thank you so much for your presentation. I really, really liked it. I was very impressed also with the social components. So what the Netherlands Food Partnership can offer is also partners, but also visibility to your project. And one very small observation, I'm missing SDG 2 actually. So I think it also addresses SDG 2 related to food security.
Yeah, food security.
Yeah. Are you
major livelihood component here? So you're right.
Yeah, thank you for the presentations. I have a question for Mr. Vikas. So you mentioned that you have 20 pump stations and 26,000 plus kilometers of pipelines. So what measures are in place to minimize the energy demand for pumping and to ensure the long-term efficiency in such a large network?
Actually, we have a centralized pumping station. So we are pumping water from a centralized locations. So we are giving the exit pressure at the farmland. So that has already improved the power efficiency to 80. Our pumping efficiency and combined efficiency is 83%, which we have documented that the average decentralized efficiency is 28%. So we are using bestest of the instrument, and we are our pumping efficiency is more than 83%, and we have capacitor banks although, and we are almost in the positive side of that.
Amazing, thank you.
Sharps are getting sharper. The sharks are.
Well, gentlemen, thumbs up for your excellent work that you have been doing with also excellent results. For the Meghalaya project, Dr. Joram, it seems that everybody's very happy. It was also shown in the video. Yeah. What's next? It seems like your work is done.
No, we are somewhere in midway. And once the project actually rolls
to use
out,
the microphone,
yeah,
please. Also for the online audience.
Use the mic, actually.
Can I have it back?
Yeah, sure.
Still a shark.
Once the project is completed, we'll have in the command area we'll have a lot of livelihood projects. That's how the EIR was calculated. So we are going to have, for instance, in our area we grow strawberries. We grow oranges. So it's a temperate zone. So in a temperate zone, all those agroclimatic products. So this is going to increase the socioeconomic condition of the people. In addition, we are also, all these water harvesting structures will become a tourist hotspot. And Meghalaya is very close to Guwahati. Guwahati is a metropolitan city. And because of the proximity, we are the numero uno tourist center of northeast region of India. So that way, it will attract a lot of tourists. And this project, in addition to climate change, is primarily targeted at improving the socioeconomic lives of the people as well.
Yeah, my other question was to the project that also did greenhouse gas emission measuring. I think it was the Meghalaya, right? It was in the video. Oh, that was yours. Oh, sorry. Okay, then my next question is to you, but that will come later on. No, and for Dr. Fikas, also thank you very much for your presentation on innovation in irrigation. I was wondering if you are also aware that drip irrigation also has the risk to increase salinity of the ground, and if you are measuring that.
Yeah, actually, our project is micro-irrigation ready projects. We are giving 2 bar pressure at the outlet, so the farmer can connect it. So it is coupled with drip and sprinkler. So
drip and sprinkler.
Yeah. We have considered the on farm efficiencies also, but we have not mandated it in the project because we have some learnings from the cross learnings from the project like in Karnataka. So it is up to the farmer. We are giving the pressure and adequate supply at the farm outlet, so they can connect it with drip and supply. They don't have to repump the water. They have the pressures at the outlets. That's why we say it's pressurized irrigation project, which is micro irrigation enabled. Yeah.
That's very great. And I was also very pleased to see that the vision for the future is to build ecosystems into the project. Well, if you want any, wait for the right one, connections on the building of connecting water, food, and ecosystems, then please contact me and we can help you further.
Thank you. We are open to it. Yeah,
thank you. Thank you to the Sharks for their great questions and offers for connections, food partnership offering visibility and networks as well. So please make use of that. A big applause for both the pitchers and the Sharks.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So moving on, we have now two projects from Pakistan, pitch 3. And this will be done jointly by my colleague, His Jamali Saab and Asad Zafar Saab. Mr. Asad Zafar Saab is joining online. So the stage is yours, His Saab.
Over to you, Asad. Asad, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
Should I take a start?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last pitch of the session. And as you know, we have very good pitches before that on a scale of infrastructure modernization. So this pitch is largely on the operational modernization. It's a pitch on the pilots, what we can do without large infrastructure investments, as financing is always a constraint. And the pilots might not be new for most of you, but it's really new for farmers, operators, water users in Pakistan, and certainly when we are aiming to target some scale in future. Let me start with this slide, which is on the screen. We have titled it The Challenging Water Landscape in Pakistan. It's a country of rivers, but we have challenges in Pakistan on the storages, which is really less than the international benchmark of 120 days. We have too much water consumed by many crops. We have lower water productivity over here, and we have a growing population, which is currently at 250 million, could increase to 320 by 2040, and certainly by 2050, it would be somewhere near 380 to 400 million. Next slide, please. So what we are presenting today is how to use those pilots to break the path dependency which the water landscape is on. Are we stuck in options which are no longer applicable? Our past decisions are no longer applicable on the future options. What is required to be pursued is new possibilities, change of mindset, willing to question the assumptions, and certainly taking one step at a time, brick by brick. That's the journey that leads to sustainable actions. We have two stories today presented by my colleagues. His is on the rostrum, and I would request Pratharpar and Abu Bakr to also turn on their camera and the mic because the presentation will follow in sequence. Over to you, Hiz, and next slide.
Thank you, Asad, for excellent background. Hello, everyone. My name is Hiz, and I work for ADB. Rice is not the staple food in Pakistan, but farmers love growing it because it is the most profitable crop that you can grow over there, particularly among the broadacre ones. It's, as you can see in the bottom center, the area under rice production has significantly increased over the decades, and it has increased by 30% in just last 10 years in Punjab. It now accounts for around $4 billion worth of exports. So that's a success story in many ways. But is it sustainable? Perhaps not, because we know how much water it consumes. And we also have monitored water levels in Punjab, for example, in many, including in the command areas of the irrigation canal systems. And many areas actually show that the groundwater table is declining because we don't have sufficient water to support that growth. We also know that it also produces, the carbon footprint of rice is also very high, probably the highest for 1 calorie of energy among all crops. But why does rice plants produce methane? Well, they don't, because most of this methane production occurs in soil, and then it's transported through the plants to the atmosphere. There are two types of microbes associated with methane mechanisms. So this methane-producing bacteria, they hate oxygen. So when we flood the soil, we basically decline the oxygen level, and they become very happy and very productive. And then there are other bacteria which actually eat methane or oxidize it, if you like. And those are the ones which become active when the soil is drier. So what do we do in this situation to increase sustainability of rice production? The good news is that using the same technique, we can not only increase the water productivity, but also reduce methane emissions. So as you know, normally we grow rice with a continuous flooding system. There's a lot of water standing. Alternate wetting and drying, which has been mentioned before, or AWD for short. In that one, we let the soil drain and make them a bit dry, and then we continue that alternate wetting and drying cycle. So there's less water. There is a period of time when the soil is drier, so hence the reduction in methane emissions. So we did this pilot in Punjab province in Pakistan in 2 areas. As you can see in the map on the right, the one in the northern side, it has higher rainfall. One in the south, Okada, is a relatively drier, to see how effective is this technique, and also then work with farmers to understand what are the adoption challenges before we can think about scaling. So we've compared these are the real pictures from the field, and we've actually measured greenhouse gas emissions in the field in collaboration with the International Rice Research Institute, and also looked at the productivity and all of those other parameters. And in the period where we were able to apply AWD, the methane emissions or greenhouse gas emissions reduced by 27 to 67%. And that variability is because in the north there was more rainfall, so you couldn't apply AWD for a longer period of time. However, in south you had more control. Then we weren't expecting a lot of yield increase, because normally if you look at literature, AWD maintains yield and you increase productivity by reducing the input costs. But in this instance, we also observed a yield increase, and the primary reason for that was, as you can see in that picture, that's from the traditional practice. Because it's always flooded, root doesn't grow, so there is weak anchorage. And if there is a windy period in that season, it lodges the crop. And we saw that in almost all of the plots of continuous flooding, there was lodging. However, in AWD, none of the plots observed lodging. And that was the main difference. And because of now less irrigation application and yield increase, the irrigation productivity increased by 44 to 64%. But if it is that good a thing, why farmers are not adopting it? I think sometimes we have solutions looking for problems, and that's where we get it wrong. We need to find where the problem is and offer the solution there. And a lot of the farmers have access to plenty of water, and water price is really low. So there is no incentive for them to bother about reducing their water footprint. But there are also farmers who we worked with, they are at the tail end of the systems, who don't have access to enough water. And these are the farmers who were very receptive to this idea. And within first few weeks, they were saying, yep, we love it. We don't even need you here, we will do it. But then there were others, and the reason they wanted to do it was because they don't have access to enough water, and 50% or 50 to 70% of their water needs were being met through pumping it from the ground. And for pumping, they were using either diesel or electricity, both of them very expensive. So straight away, they were saving money. And they could see within 2-3 weeks or 4 weeks, both the crops are looking same, because we were doing this paired plot trials there. And they could see, yep, I'm using less water, saving money there, crop looks the same, happy. But then you go to the another one who have a lot of water. So we need to, if where there is no incentive for farmer, we need to think about incentives. Water pricing is one, carbon markets is another one. And there was one motivation of doing this study, because this is the first ever study on greenhouse gas measurements from rice fields in Pakistan. So this showed us the potential of what is the potential of carbon credits per hectare in that area, because it's essentially carbon markets is when you're developing a project, it's a business decision. You want to know how much you can make if you are investing in a carbon market project. So that's another. So with that, I will stop and back to you, Asad.
Okay, if you could please turn on my slide.
Is that okay?
Sorry. Yeah, I think so.
Asad, who is presenting, and which slide would you like?
Pratap is presenting. Now, can you go back 2 slides, please?
Sure.
But no, you're going forward, backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, next slide.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Yep. So this study is about canal irrigation scheduling. What we are talking about when we talk about the irrigation scheduling, sorry, the slide is not correct. If I may, I think one slide back, please. Okay, that's it. Just leave it there. So what we are talking about is irrigation scheduling for a canal command. So typically, when you talk about irrigation scheduling, the fundamental question is how much water to apply to a crop and when to apply it in a field. So here we assume that whenever you need water, how much of water you need, the water is going to be available. And that is not the case in Pakistan's canal command. Pakistan canal commands are supply based. So whenever water comes, you have to take it. They are water short. There's not enough water for everybody. The canal commands are vast. It's not just a single field, anywhere from 200,000 to 700 or 800,000 hectares. There are multiple crops being grown at any particular time, and the crops are at different growth stages. So that is what we are trying to address this issue, and how should the canals be operated so that the crop water requirement of all these under all these constraints are met as best as possible, and the deficit is equitably distributed across the canal command. Next slide, please. To understand to understand how we can influence the way the water is managed, we need to understand how the water flows in the Indus Basin system. So at the first stage, from the barrage, water is diverted into main canal or sub-main canal, and there the water flows continuously. And then once the water comes into the main canal, there is not enough water to supply all the distributaries simultaneously. Hydraulically efficiently supply, we cannot do that. There's not enough water. So what we have to do, what the PID irrigation department has to do is to rotate it. And when they rotate the distributary and the water enters the distributary, from there, the water flows to the farms through an outlet where the farmers moves the water around sequentially. So if you look at the primary, secondary, and tertiary level, the only place where irrigation department can actively get involved in scheduling or changing irrigation practices is at the secondary level, at a distributary level. So what we are trying to do is to see how we can help them to improve the way they are rotating and improve equity in the system by equitably distributing the water deficit. Like I said at the outset, that the systems are water deficit system. The question is how? So this is not the traditional irrigation scheduling that we study at the textbooks. So here now we are going to why this becomes important. Next slide, please. It's become important is if you look at this graph thank you very much. On the right-hand side where you have this Gini coefficient is a variable that we are using where we have this delivery performance ratio that tells you how the ratio operates for different indents and different divisions within a particular kernel command, which is the LPDC. There is variability, but because this is captured during Rabi season, we don't see much deficit across the canal command. But the Kharif season will be just the opposite, where the canal water is distributed equitably, but the deficits are very inequitable. So that is because in addition to the canal water that is supplied directly to the farm, in good quality groundwater quality areas, people are reusing the recycling the groundwater. In high rainfall areas, effective rainfall is high, and therefore just by managing the canals to delivery performance ratio itself is not enough. It is not going to induce equity. So that is what our study is about. So what we do, we take remotely sensed images every indent. Every indent is 8 days. Every 8 days, and then we estimate the relative water deficit, and then we use that in our quadratic programming program and advise the irrigation department every week. Now, every indent. I will hand it over to my colleague, Dr. Abu Bakr.
Yeah, we have a bit over 1 minute maybe.
Thank you. So please keep the same slide. So let us look at how this decision support system actually works. So we use channel parameters, daily canal flow measurements, and other data from PID, critically to put in constraints into the mathematical programming framework that Dr. Pratharpa just mentioned. For demand estimation, we process daily land surface temperature and other required remote sensing products into an energy balance model. And this actually helps us to compute evapotranspiration, soil moisture, or relative water deficit. We can do other things like water productivity as well, but we are primarily using the RWD for performance optimization. So the DSS then actually generates in real time or near real time multiple suggestions for indents. One is based on the mathematical programming based algorithm, but also on the fixed rotation program as well, so that the decision is actually made by the canal operators. So we are just suggesting. And this decision cycle actually works every 8 days. So next slide, please. So in this slide, you can see some results from our one of our pilots that was done in May 2023. So please note that the blue dots, they mostly remain on the diagonal. So this is where we are comparing the actual supplies versus those generated by the DSS. And those blue dots are actually the highest priority flows, and they remain on the diagonal. This is due to the constraints built into the DSS, as advised by the canal operators, to only change supplies that are in lower priorities. So, because that will be difficult to sell to the farmers because they may have a different perception about their water rights. But also note that we are slightly adjusting flows to canals in priority 1 and 2, but in a few number of canals, they are majorly changed for canals of lower priority. So this means that we are actually addressing water stress on those areas which otherwise would not have gotten the canal supply in the old system. Next slide, please. So in short, this project is a large-scale technological intervention in one of the biggest irrigation systems of the world that can, of course, lead to changes in the mindset of the canal operators from supply-side thinking to demand-side thinking. It can further lead to institutional changes as well, but eventually to social change, because the canal water supplies are now being internally diverted from areas where to areas where groundwater is available less or there is less rainfall. But this is being done without changing existing water rights majorly. So this is, I think, a major achievement. The project also is a good example of collaboration. Like we as academia are involved, the government agency, the irrigation department is fully involved in this. International experts are there, like Dr. Prathapar, who just presented. But lastly, the approach is very, very pragmatic. And I wanted to emphasize this, that a lot of care has been taken to incorporate fully the experience, the wisdom, and the advice of the canal operators. So this is not a complete major shift from what they are doing already, as well as the concerns of the farmers as well. But it will eventually lead to the mindset that we are looking for and can lead to major gains in system efficiency and equity. So that's all from my side.
Thank you.
Me also, I'm sorry for not introducing our two online speakers. In addition to Asad Saab, we have joined by Dr. Abu Bakr Muhammad, who is a professor of electrical engineering, who was online at present. And then we have Dr. Shanmugam Prathapar Saab, basically he's an expert, groundwater and water management expert, and he is also supporting the team. So thank you very much, sir, through online system.
Thank you, Vikas, thank you, His, and for the team online. We're gonna do this hybrid, so this is exciting. Again, next level. His, I hope you can coordinate with the team who will respond to the different sharks.
Sure.
A lot of information, very interesting projects, I think. Who likes to start? There we go. A lot of hearts. Actually, I've seen 3 times, I think.
Yes. Well, my curious research heart really starts beating a little bit faster. You must have so much data on greenhouse gas emissions that we can connect to water productivity, food production, and food security. Could you share your data with us?
Yes, later. Because
not now.
The reason being, we are in the process of publishing it. And the reason we want to publish it is because only then it can be used as, for example, an emission factor in the national greenhouse gas inventory and so on. Normally in ADB, we don't publish scientific papers, but being an ex-scientist, I couldn't help myself. So we will publish it and we share with you.
Yeah, and then please also share it with the Global Research Alliance on Agricultural Greenhouse Gases, an amazing group of researchers around the world that research agricultural greenhouse gases. And they have a rice growing group, rice production group. So they must be very interested in this data, and also UNEP, who work a lot on methane emissions from agriculture.
Sure. And we are connected with the IRI team. Yes. So they have been to Pakistan actually during this study as well. Yes, thank you for that suggestion.
Thank you so much.
His and then the Dr. Prathapar and then the Asad, it's excellent. Couple of things, the connection. It's an excellent work. Let's talk about the AWD, which is happening at the field scale level. That's a good. What we are doing it, we are also monitoring the methane emission, CO2 for the irrigated rice at 4 different places using the eddy covariance flux tower, and saying it how that's contributing to the greenhouse gas methane and then the CO2 emission. at the large basin scale level linking with the satellite. So that's a connection there, which we can do it and see how what's happening from the field scale level to the biggest river basin level. That's the one thing. And then the second is about the equity of canal, which we are doing it as we had, I think, discussion several with Dr. Parthapar, that in Pakistan, the equity of canal and the waste system is old, that need a revised. We are also working with the Punjab Irrigation Department about the water allocation plan. How that will be allocation plan will be changed in consider, and again, that's a kind of linkages there. So we have developed a series of models which we are implementing with the help of the Punjab Irrigation Department, and we offer that kind of support, how to take to the next step, where we are linking with the irrigation demand forecasting for the canal command area. What could be the demand at the particular canal, and how to link up the operationalization of the canal as a test case in the same area where we are working. Thank you. Excellent work.
Thank you. And I think very quickly, the first question, of course, I think totally agree. I think the landscape level eco-variance very good. I think the reason we had to go with the chambers because we had to compare plots and the treatments, and we couldn't do that with eco-variance, but look forward to that. For the later part, I don't know if Asad, Prathapar, Abu Bakr, if you want to add anything to the later part of the question.
No, thank you. As Dr. Abu Bakr said, collaborative work, and we are really working very closely with Dr. Hafiz on this, and we are very grateful that IMI is a very strong partner with us and also for Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you for the very rich presentation. What I really liked in particular was framing it about like changing the mindset. And I think in your last slide, you showed the steps from technological, operational, institutional, social level. So I was wondering, do you already have the right partners on board? And if not, we could be of any help with our connections.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this amazing project with us. I think that I can share it on my networks because we have the similar problem in my country with the farmers adopting the sustainable water use practices. So I think that it can serve as an amazing example. Thank you.
Thank you. You are the nicest sharks I've ever seen.
Yeah. Actually, this round is very interesting. A lot of hearts and a lot of connections and support. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much to the team, also the team online from Pakistan. Big applause. And this was the last round for the Sharks. So a big applause for the Sharks as well. You did great. You made my life easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And
thank you very much, Sharks.
Over to you.
Thank you very much, Sharks. And thank you very much for all our pictures. So coming to the next step in this whole session. So now the turn is of our esteemed colleagues and friends who are joining this here. So we would like to invite any questions from you. Please raise your hand.
I am Isaac Liabuel. I work for the Nile Basin Initiative, and I am originally from South Sudan. When he was talking about equity in canals, then he reached the idea of the areas with the groundwater decline and the areas with the groundwater availability. I did not capture that area very well because it touched something very important about the existing water rights, how they can change with the climate, with the introduction of new crops. I need the presenter online who would have a number of books behind him to try to unpack that one for me. Thank you.
Right. Good question, sir. Maybe I think Dr. Prathapar is there online.
Yeah, sure.
And Abu Bakr Sahab, can you please address this question quickly?
Okay. So I will have a go at it. So when we talk about equity, we are talking about equity in consumption. That is how much water that was evaporated. So obviously, if you have an area where the rainfall is high and the groundwater is of good quality, and on top of it, you also receive your canal water, that area will have less deficit or stress compared to an area where the groundwater quality is poor or the rainfall is less. So our algorithm, by the objective function of the algorithm is to distribute the, to maintain a target relative water deficit across. Therefore, what it will do is it will move the water, hopefully, from sweeter groundwater areas to marginal groundwater areas. Gradual shift will come. Now, you also raised the issue of water right. Here in Pakistan, the water right is defined by the number of minutes a farmer would irrigate. So we are not touching that one. Only thing is in areas where the groundwater is saline, the number, when during the same number of minutes, there will be a little bit more water than before. And like Dr. Abubakar mentioned, we also rotate based on priorities, that priority 1, priority 2, priority 3 for the distributaries. In priority 1, all the canals are run 100%, whether they are in the head end or tail end or middle end or marginal quality areas. There is no change on that one. That will be run 100%. Only when it comes with the priority 2 and 3, priority 2 is whatever, to equate the relative water deficit. So priority 2 and 3, of course, they will get a little bit more water. So we are not going to deprive the farm. I don't think we will deprive, because remember, always priority 1 is going to get full water, but some water will shift. That's what we have identified in our studies, which Professor Abubakar presented. Especially, it will shift for people who have the lowest priority. And the priorities also changes in Pakistan every indent, it changes every 8 days. So overall, I think that's what will happen, that we are expecting some shift of canal water from sweet groundwater zones to marginal groundwater zones, and in areas where the rainfall is low. Thank you.
Yes, so I'm Alok Sikka with International Water Management Institute based in Delhi. And I think, when we are looking into the AWD, or even for that matter, the DSR, I'll stick to AWD here. One of the major barriers are, as I think Pratapar was talking about, the reliability in the canal water supply availability. Because when the time has come for you, as per the AWD, to irrigate, but you don't have water supply in the canal. So I think these are the key fixes. If you really, really want to have AWD work on the field, unless you link it with that, because that's one of the key barriers, and I think that's something based on my own long experience of working with AWD, because in India we have also standardized the AWD, we don't even have to use those pani pipes. So anyway, so that's something, and I think Pratapar was perhaps hinting something on that. Number 2, when we are looking into this methane emission reduction, yes, that's there with the water management. It will be good to look into the GWP, global warming potential, because no matter that you are reducing the methane emission, but if the fertilizer management has not been done properly and fertilizer efficiency doesn't improve, in that case, you will have a much more nitrous oxide emission, which is far more disastrous than the methane emission. So that's why it's always better to put the numbers in GWP, global warming potential, rather than just the methane emission. Thank you very much.
I can just quickly answer. Thank you very much. I think these are really good points. First point, I think logistic ones, absolutely. I think a lot of the farmers don't have control over irrigation. And this is why I think the point that it's AWD is not a blanket prescription to everyone. And it's more suited, particularly in those, that particular area is more suited to the farmers who are using groundwater, because they have more control, but also a better incentive. And the second point, the global warming potential. So by that, we are referring to that the methane is one gas, but generally when we apply AWD, when it's the drier conditions, it usually increases the emissions of nitrous oxide, which is like almost 300 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. I think in this instance, I think the reason we didn't present those, because overall in the whole calculations, the increase in nitrous oxide emissions in this instance was negligible, very small. So even if we present, so I totally agree with you that I think the global warming potential. Yeah. No, totally agree. And I think the overall the GWP numbers were very similar to what the methane was. But thank you for that. I think it's a very good point.
Thank you so much. Just quickly, few questions I have prepared for the audience over here, our partners and colleagues here. These are not very tough questions like Dr. Sikka and these are asking. What is the key game changer of Cambodia project? Okay, first question is this. You have to raise your hand. First option, institutional strengthening. B, community participation. C, technical innovation. D, innovative financing, or all of the above. What is your answer for Cambodia project? All of the above? Great. Thank you, Lance. Project is approved. Second question related to our colleagues from India, Mohanpura Kundalia. Can large-scale irrigation and agriculture transformation projects like Mohanpura Kundalia attract private sector investment, which is very critical? Answer A, yes, B, no, or maybe.
Maybe has a very broader connotation. It would be good if it is in a public-private partnership mode, because either or approach will not work.
Yes. How many yes? So, yes.
The Ramathal example, huh?
Yes, good. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Right. The third question from our doctor cum administrator, sir, Dr. Joram. Whether Meghalaya type of projects have potential for replication in other regions? Yes, no, or maybe? Yes. Great. Means there's a consensus on this. Congratulations, sir. And we look forward for the successful implementation under your leadership. The next question is from Pakistan. Which element is critical for successful piloting in Pakistan project? Innovation and technology, option A. Option B, capacity building and training. C, farmers' interest. D, government ownership. Or all of the above? All of the above, definitely. And last, which pitch was the best? Cambodia, India, or Pakistan? Or all of the above? All of the above. Great. Thank you so much. Now, let me take this opportunity to invite my director, Jiangfeng Zhang, sir. Please come and have a closing remark for the session. Thank you.
First of all, let's all thank you very much to Vikas and Tanya for excellent facilitation of this session. Thank you so much. Excellency, colleagues, distinguished partners, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a privilege to join you today for this engaging session on climate-smart water resources and irrigation management. In the session, we have heard and discussed how innovation, collaboration, and commitment are driving real progress across Asia. From river basin management in Cambodia to transformative irrigation systems in India, to pioneer technologies and farm-centered approaches in Pakistan. These case studies remind us that while climate change and water security challenges are daunting, they are not insurmountable. With bold ideas, sound science, and inclusive partnership,
we can scale up solutions that deliver food security, climate resilience, and sustainable livelihoods. At ADB, we are embedding this approach in our Resilient River Basin Initiative, which aims to help countries design and implement holistic, climate resilient, and inclusive river basin management plans. The initiative supports not only infrastructure, but also institutions, communities, and ecosystems, ensuring that water investments are sustainable, adaptive, and people-centered. The experiences we have heard today in this session directly inform and strengthen this broader regional effort. I want to thank our partners from governments, academia, civil society, and development organizations for sharing your experiences so candidly, and our sharks and audience for bringing critical perspectives and energy to this dialogue. Looking ahead, ADB remains committed to supporting countries in scaling up climate-smart water and irrigation management through financing, knowledge, and partnerships. But the real success will depend on all of us working together: governments, communities, private sector, and international partners. On behalf of ADB and our co-conveners, thank you once again for your active participation. We look forward to continue this journey with you as partners in building a more water secure and climate resilient Asia and the Pacific. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you, Yang Sir. Thank you, sir. So with this closing remark, may I kindly request you to please come around this stage so that we can have a group photo. It will be a good memory for us to be together, if you don't mind. Please come here. We can have a group photo.